right, we are back with another Bulldogs in the Workforce this week. Very fortunate this week to be joined by Jake Francksen-Small. Jake is a 2020 graduate of Lamar's Community High School. He was a graduate during the COVID year, which was a few years back. So Jake's going to be talking to us a little bit about his journey today, as well as what he's doing right now up in grad school to be a physical therapist. So Jake is one of those guys, like, to have him on Bulldogs in the Workforce is just a real privilege. I know he's not, technically right now a physical therapist working full-time in his career, and he's still in grad school. But to have a guy like Jake take time out of his schedule to be with us is just incredible. So this was too good of an opportunity to pass up, and we're excited to have him here with us today. This is big time, having Jake Francksen-Small with us. So first of all, Jake, as we kind of get started here, tell us a little bit about your experience at Lamar's Community High School, and what that was like, and also what you were involved in while you were a Bulldog.
Yeah. First off, Jeff, thanks for having me on, and thanks for all the kind words. I appreciate being able to give back in any way I can. So
you bet.
Yeah, so in high school, I was sports were a big part of my high school career. I was a wrestler. That was probably like my main sport, main priority. But I also did cross country, and I did track for a little bit as well. So really loved being involved with sports, and going to the weight room after school with all the kids that would go there. So enjoyed doing a lot of that kind of stuff. And then just making a relationship with some of my classmates and teachers throughout my time there was also really important.
Yeah, you bet. So then after you graduated from Lamar's, you went on to Northwestern up in Orange City. Is that correct?
Yep. I went to Northwestern.
Yeah. Talk to us a little bit about your journey after you graduated from Lamar's Community, specifically at Northwestern then.
So I decided to go to Northwestern sometime during my senior year at Lamar's. And so, I graduated from Lamar's and then started up at Northwestern right after that. Great things to say about Northwestern. I mean, I'd recommend it to everyone that I could. Great school. While I was there, I got to be involved in a lot of stuff. I got to wrestle for Northwestern, so that was a great opportunity, getting to be a collegiate athlete. Learned a lot of valuable life lessons, and just made a bunch of memories that I'll never forget. So very thankful that I got to wrestle for Northwestern. I did a bunch of different like work study type jobs. So like a student ambassador type things. I got to work with prospective students that are looking at Northwestern, and just a bunch of different little things like that. So I was involved in that way. I also did a little bit with the campus ministry up at Northwestern. So I got to go on some short-term mission trips and other small campus events during my time there. And that was kind of my big things of when I went to Northwestern. I was exercise science major and psychology minor. So I got to take a lot of really fun classes, especially with the exercise science part. That's something I'm really interested in, and so that's what I graduated with.
Yeah. Now we know you're a humble guy. We know you're very humble, but you won some awards while you were at Northwestern, and also post Northwestern. Is that right?
Yeah. So at Northwestern, through our athletic department, they do an awards show type thing at the end of every semester, or not every semester, every year, I should say.
Yeah.
And my junior year, I was very blessed to win the Sportsmanship Award.
Yes.
So that was a very cool opportunity, very humbling to get that. My senior year, I also won it's called the Dr. Norderweir Academic Achievement Award. So that goes for someone that displays some high level in athletics and academics too. So that's also something I'm very proud of, and very thankful that Northwestern put me in a position to get awards like that. So.
Yeah, you bet. Yeah, like I said, I know you're very humble, but those are prestigious awards. I mean, that's fantastic. So, so then after you graduated from Northwestern, you moved on to PT school or grad school up at the Mayo Clinic up in Rochester, Minnesota. Is that right?
Yep.
Yeah, and
I graduated.
Yeah, for those of you who aren't familiar, the Mayo Clinic is extremely prestigious. I mean, it's one of the best best places for healthcare in the entire world. And here you are having an opportunity to be in grad school up there and experience that. Tell us what it's like to be right now at Mayo Clinic and in pursuing your degree in physical therapy.
Yeah. So Mayo is great. And that's another school. I'm very blessed that I was able to get accepted there and get the opportunity to just be a student there. I really appreciate it at Mayo. So we have a really small class size. So our PT cohort is 28 students. I'd say most PT cohorts are usually at least 50, if not a little bigger. So I really like the small class size. Something else that I think really makes Mayo stand out is they can bring in professionals from like all other different like disciplines and sub areas. So for example, like we'll have guest lectures. If we're talking about like shoulder dislocations, they'll have their main shoulder dislocation orthopedic surgeon come in and give the lecture. Wow. So there's just little stuff like that we're pretty blessed with, and we get to see that. Especially this semester that I'm in right now, we've had quite a few guest lecturers, so really cool to see all the kind of ins and outs of the surgeons and therapists and other sort of doctors that work at Mayo. I think it's also just really cool all the different like type of ailments or diagnoses that you might see. So for example, I was in the clinic like a week or two ago, and the first two patients that we saw had this like ear condition going on, and I was like, oh, like, is this pretty common? Like the first two patients had it, and like, no, this is super rare, like you'll never see this again. And like, I just saw it on a random Wednesday morning when I was out in the clinic. So just so many different opportunities to learn from some of the best doctors and professors that I could ask for at Mayo. So
wow, that's incredible. What an opportunity.
Yeah, definitely. It's really cool. And I think sometimes when you're at Mayo, you kind of take it for granted just because, like, everyone kind of goes to the Mayo for that kind of stuff. But then, you either reflect on it or you're talking to other people about it. And, it really makes you appreciate where you're at.
Yeah. So what kind of led you to physical therapy? Like, what was your motivating factor to pursue physical therapy?
So I always had a passion for, like, the sports world, even since I've been at Mars, wrestled there and wrestled in college. So I just really like the athletic side of it. I really like the patient interaction, getting to work with people, and just kind of an overall active, healthy lifestyle type thing. When you kind of put all those factors together, that's kind of where it led me into physical therapy. At Northwestern, I think my freshman year, one of their freshman classes, it's called Directed Field Experience. So they kind of just get you out to job shadow a bunch of different occupations and just really, really enjoy physical therapy. So that's kind of how I decided on it, and I've been going with it ever since.
Yeah, that's great. And it just shows, again, the value. We've talked about this with students, the value of job shadowing and doing internships and things like that to gain firsthand knowledge and to see what it's really like. So that's another perfect example here. So I'm glad you shared that. So what advice or suggestions would you give to students, Jake, who are thinking about physical therapy as a possible career? Anything that you would offer to them?
Yeah, I think first and foremost, kind of like you touched on a little bit, just get out and maybe not necessarily have to be job shadowing, but if there's a PT, just pick his or her brain about it, like ask them questions, how they got into it, what their experience is like with it. So just kind of get some of that behind the scenes stuff you might not see either as a patient or if you're just Googling it or whatever. So I think just getting experience in any way you can, whether that be the job shadowing or talking to a PT you may know, I think it's really big.
Yeah, good stuff. Yeah, so kind of as we wrap things up here, Jake, talk to us a little bit about your future and what that holds with physical therapy and what you see yourself doing here in a few years once you complete your time at the Mayo Clinic. So, kind of talk to us about your future with physical therapy.
Yeah, so I'm in my first year of physical therapy school. So I'll graduate in May of 2027. So with that, it's like classwork this year, classwork next year, in my third year is a lot of clinical rotation stuff, so I'll kind of be in different areas for those. Then after I graduate, my ultimate goal would be to working at some sort of like outpatient orthopedic clinic. So that's kind of where I want to head to. And I've also considered doing like either a sports or orthopedic residency. Should be fourth year, mainly working, but a little bit of classwork with that too. But so the ultimate goal is some sort of sports orthopedic outpatient clinic.
Great. Yeah. Well, knowing you, you will meet those goals without question.
Thank you.
And you'll make a huge impact wherever you land. I mean, you know how to succeed. You know how to work hard and meet your goals. So we know you'll do big things and be very successful someday. So, yeah, that's great. So, thanks again, Jake, for your time. We know you're really busy up there in Rochester right now. So we appreciate you taking some time out of your schedule to visit with us today for Bulldogs in the Workforce. And we wish you well. And it'll be fun to follow your progress and to follow you here in the future as well.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate all that. And yeah, I really appreciate having me on.
You bet.
Just getting to talk a little bit about that. So.
You bet. Well, keep doing big things out there and you know, you'll always be a Bulldog, that's for sure. So we know you got started here first. So
yeah, sounds good.
You bet.
I appreciate it.
All right. Well, that was Jake Francksen-Small for Bulldogs in the Workforce this week, talking about physical therapy and his journey. So we wish him well, and thanks again for being with us today. So, all right, we'll be back again next week with another LCHS grad for Bulldogs in the Workforce. All right. Oh, there we go. Oh, it disappeared.